Hey guys, Ty Cohen here. Listen, if you don't know me, my husband, father of four. I got two boys, two girls. Our youngest is 14. Our two oldest are in their 20s, early 20s. And I gotta tell you, I've helped tens of thousands of people across the planet to kind of find their why, to kind of get to the next level in life, to kind of get to a point where life is exciting for them, right? Where it's fantastic, where it's fun to wake up in the morning, where they have these massive amounts of energy and they're able to do things. And I want to share something with you. If you're stuck right now, if you're at a place where nothing seems to be going well for you, if you're at a place where you're sort of at a crossroads, if you're kind of wondering, how do I get to that next level? Hopefully in the next couple of minutes, I'll be able to share some things with you that will help. And this is a 1,000-year-old formula. This is something that's been working for well over 1,000 years. And it can work for anyone. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, young, old. It doesn't matter if you're entrepreneurial. It doesn't matter if you're not. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD or if you dropped out at high school or elementary school level. It works for everyone, trust me. So one of the things is, we often say to ourselves, Ty, I want to get to the next level. I want to do something that's going to be magnificent. I want to be able to do these incredible things that are going to take me out of my zone of comfort, things that are going to push me to the next level of who I am. But we don't know how to get there, right? That's the tricky part. Sometimes we'll have a desire and the desires run rampant. Like we'll have these very vivid desires, but we just don't know how to get there. Well, I'm going to tell you that desire alone is not the thing. And you probably know that, right? You don't need me to tell you that. The secret to getting to that next level, whatever the next level is for you, whatever it is having ambition coupled with desire. So ambition coupled with desire equals explosive results. A lot of people think that it's motivation, right? Well, here's the thing. Motivation is good and it's great, right? Motivation is excellent for that daily consumption. But motivation is not long-lasting. Motivation is short-lived. It's short-term, right? So every time you go down, you're not feeling well, you have to be motivated to get back up. Now, when you have the ambition coupled with desire, right? You have long-lasting effects that will last until you get the result that you're after. So let me give you an example. So let's say this pool here, right? The person who said, I want to have this pool, right? And this is my pool here in one of my properties. But the person who said, hey, I want to learn how to build out these pools. They didn't just say, I want to build out these pools and have that desire just for themselves, right? They wanted to give other people an experience. They probably wanted to come in and say, hey, I wanted to be a pool designer. I wanted to create some really amazing pools. I want to create pools that give people memories, that give people history, that allow people to really bond and have fun with their family. So yes, it was self-serving where they said, I want to learn how to be an amazing pool designer, but also there had to be something backed by that as well, right? Oftentimes when you have the desire, and if you're coupling it with ambition, the way that you really fuel that ambition is finding out what your why is. So finding out what your why is. So for example, many of you guys probably know my story. I grew up extremely poor, grew up in one of the worst hoods ever, grew up in one of the worst projects ever. It was called Father Panic Village. This was a housing project where people were definitely afraid of coming into. The police were afraid of coming into. State troopers were afraid of coming into it. I mean, police officers actually were afraid of coming into the housing projects that I lived in to serve and to protect the people. That's how terrible this thing was, right? Grew up with sickle cell anemia, a chronic blood disorder that caused me to be in the hospital and hospitalized for hundreds of days on and off, right? And extreme bouts of pain. And if you would have said that, Ty, here's the life that you will live in the future, I would have thought you were crazy. Because at that time, I had the desire, but I didn't have the ambition, right? And most importantly, I didn't have the desire, the ambition, and the why coupled together. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older, I got into my teens, and I saw how my mom, she just did everything. Here's this lady, older lady from the South, black lady from the South, and she had, 5 or 6 kids that she's taking care of, and she's taking care of 2 very sickly kids, myself and my older sister Gwen, who ended up passing from sickle cell anemia at age 27. So as I got a little bit older and started to grow into adulthood, right, into my 20s, I said, man, my mom has been so great, and she's been able to do so much with these limited resources that she's had, financial resources, educational resources being very limited, that I owe it to her to give her the best possible life ever. So that was my why that I was able to couple to my desire, and I was able to plug in ambition to really fuel all 3 of those things, all right? And forever, that's been the reason why. That's been how people who have come from very modest backgrounds, people who have wanted to start all over again, people who have been in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, have been able to find these sparks that have allowed them to do some magnificent things. It's not just because they've had the desire. Having the desire to want to travel, to want to have a better house, to want to get better cars, or to live a better life, that's just not enough, right? But when you have the ambition, and oftentimes we get that ambition by first figuring out what our why is. So me wanting to give my mom a better life was my why. Now here's the thing, right? Your why is going to change. Or you might have additional things that come into play that may be your why. So for example, once I was able to figure out ways to give my mom a better life, my why then became, as I started to get older, having children, right? So my why was, I don't want my children to grow up in the environment that I grew up in. It was very dangerous. It was very limited in so many different ways, right? So then your why turns into, the next thing. And that next thing, like I said, for me was, how do I give my children, my family a better life, right? How do I do something different for them, right? Then your why might be yourself, and that's okay. It's totally okay. People will tell you, hey, listen, you shouldn't have a selfish why, but it's totally okay to want to do better and to achieve things just for yourself. For example, for me, growing up with sickle cell anemia, right? I was very limited in a lot of the things that I was able to do. Couldn't go swimming, right? Couldn't go out and play in the snow. There was just a lot of things I couldn't do because it would cause me to possibly go into a sickle cell anemia crisis, and then I would end up in the hospital for days or weeks at a time. So I live a very sheltered life as a young kid. I would say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And then I started to rebel as I started to get into my teens, and then that was a whole nother story again. But because I always had this desire to want to prove myself to be a normal, quote unquote, kid who didn't have health issues, who could do everything else that the other kids could do, I then had that desire to want to be seen as a regular kid, right? And then, so my why was wanting to be seen as a regular kid. That gave me the ambition, and the desire was to be able to show that I can do anything that you can do, and I could probably do it at a better level, right? So you see how having these selfish desires coupled with the ambition, coupled with your why, can really help you to get to the next level in life, right? So that's where it started out for me. So now, as at the next stage of my life, my desire is to help as many people as possible on the planet to be able to morph into that next best, greatest version of themselves. So that gives me the ambition. That gives me that fuel to go. And I'll tell you, listen, here's the thing. Right now, if you are finding it extremely difficult to get up in the mornings, if you have desires and nothing seems to be happening, if you don't have the energy, it's because you don't have that why. It's because you don't have a big enough why, right? It's because you don't have the desire coupled with the ambition, coupled with the why. When you have those 3 things, nothing stops you. Having a little bit of minor body aches and things like that won't stop you. Being tired won't stop you, right? Because you can't wait to get to that mission of yours. All right, so there you go. So desire, which one of these things are you missing right now? Think about it, and I want you to be totally honest. Are you missing the desire? And most people have a desire. Most people have the desire, right? Are you missing the ambition? And as I said, 2 to 3% of the Earth's population have the ambition, right? To take that desire and do something with it. Now, here's the good thing. 100% of the Earth's population can learn to have the ambition as soon as they learn how to figure out what their why is. And that's where the magic takes place. So I want you to think about, what do you currently have right now? Probably you have a desire, all right? I want you to think about, do you have the ambition? And if you don't have the ambition, it's probably because you don't have a why, or a few whys, or big enough whys, all right? Hey guys, hopefully this video has helped you out. Stay tuned, make sure that you subscribe to catch all of my other videos. And if you have gotten value out of this, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comments. Listen, that desire is something that we all have. Now, the painful thing about that is that desire, as you don't really put it into place, it starts to wane, all right? It starts to just fade away. And the last thing you want is that desire to fade away. All right, so get yourself some ambition, get yourself some reasons why, and I'll see you in the next video. Go ahead, subscribe, comment, let me know if you like this. Stay tuned.